Folks, check it out. It's time to dive into Slider Moves 101. Now, this was a video that I've avoided for some time because once you get in the habit of sliding, a lot of times it becomes second nature. You're doing it without even thinking about it. And so a lot of times it becomes really difficult to nail down what it is exactly you do to make it move certain ways. And kind of one of those things where the moment you start to think about what it is, you can't capture it. This does not account for the magnet setups that I have, which are different in all different sliders, okay? But let me tell you this. If you've got strong magnets in the corners and weak magnets in the middle, you're going to get ultimate tight moves on sliders, okay? So if you get a Magnus and you keep N52s in the corner and put N35s or something even weaker in the middle, you're going to get really easy push-ups for fast movements. You're going to get really easy swipes across. But then once it reaches this point, you're going to be able to whip it around without worrying about it flying off the rails. Now, if you do something hybrid, for instance, like I have here, a lot of times you'll get a little bit of overswing if you're not using it in the correct orientation. There's going to be a plate that has stronger magnets and one that has weaker magnets in the corners. On this one, if I use it with the smooth plate on the bottom, I get really awesome, really perfect movements from it. But if I flip it over, I can get skips like that. And so it kind of depends on how the magnets are set up. On other sliders, like the Magic Play, you've got 1, 2, 3 by 2, and then on this one, 4 by 2, giving this glide in the middle. Now that is kind of a staple of trick sliders that use that so that you get this really simple push across the middle. But the only thing is you're giving up clicks. That is why I tend to use really weak magnets in the middle and really strong magnets in the corners. So I can really hug those turns, but not have to deal with, overburdening magnets in the middle. Always change the magnets in the middle. If you want to tune a slider, change out the magnets in the middle to weaker on one side, see how it feels. If it needs to be adjusted more, change them out to weaker magnets in the middle on the other side and then see how it feels. But save the changing of corner magnets for last. Okay, now let's dive into slider moves. First, I'm telling you this is 101, we are going to start with up and down. Okay, let's grab the Novel Carry aluminum Delta tile, okay? Now, for up and down, a lot of times, you go to a holiday, you hand this to your aunt, she takes it, and she's like, I don't understand, what the hell? Take it, okay? Rest it on your ring finger. Now, I'm left-handed, so if you're right-handed, reverse. Rest it there. Brace yourself on this top back plate, okay? So now we're like this. And then press from the bottom edge. If you're planning on doing any moves, that's where you're going to want to be for the next position, for the next move anyway. So pressing off of that bottom edge and kind of letting the bottom of your thumb ride along the plate is going to set you up to be able to ladder, okay? It's going to set you up, reverse ladder, it's going to set you up just to come back down, where you push up on that edge and then push down on that top edge. Now, if you're getting pinched, that could mean magnet strength is too strong, but it also could mean that maybe you're pressing like this. You got to be aware of where your thumb's at. Okay, so up and down, press up, press down. Use your ring finger and use your pointer finger to both brace and create those points so it's not going to slip out of your hand. Just keep practicing that for a while, just up and down, making sure you feel comfortable with the position of the slider. Okay, now once you're used to that, now we're going to move to the laddering basics. You've got your slider, it's braced on your ring finger. You've got your pointer finger bracing the back plate. You push up, you are exactly where you need to be to do your first ladder, okay? You've pressed up, simply adjust your thumb right to the corner and press up. You have just laddered. Now, if you push up and your slider stops right here, that means your magnets are either too strong or your plates need to be cleaned. Maybe there's several different possibilities, but wipe the plates off on your shirt, get them cleaned off, make sure that your magnets aren't too strong, press, and it should drop down just like that. That's step one of laddering, okay? So you're up, you press on that corner, now you are side by side. Your thumb is still exactly where it needs to be, because with the simple press of your thumb, just kind of sliding it over, it's going to put the pressure on that top magnet to let go and drop down. That is laddering. So you have gone up, adjusted your thumb a little bit down into the left corner or to the right corner, depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed. Press, let it drop, press. And then eventually you're able to do it without your thumb almost even looking like it's moving at all. And it really happens very slyly. Now let's talk about T-sliding. So a lot of times you'll hear people say that this is one of their favorite ways to use a slider. This one's really easy because all you do is you take the slider, turn it so that it makes a T, and now you can go up and down. Now, this doesn't work with every magnet. It works with equidistant magnets. All right, so the distance between that magnet and this magnet are the same. On some of the newer magnet stuff, they are not equidistant. So you can T-slide, but you can see it's not super easy. T-slides on things like the Kind Industries with these heavier lined plates sound so good. Incredible texture on texture sliding opportunity here. So T-slide, very easy. Now, for my Kind Industries swoop, one of my favorite things is the H-slide. I think I made up this name just now, but I'm going to call it the H-slide because it's not the T-slide. You also flip over there. And so you just get this nice kind of rockabye motion out of the top of this. Now you can follow it all the way around, which can be pretty interesting because it's connecting in really odd spots. But I call that the H-slide right there. Just kind of rocking back and forth. Now let's talk about backside laddering. Now this is like laddering, but you're operating from the backside instead of the front. So where the front, you are pushing mainly on that front part of the body to operate the ladder. Now we're going to focus on pushing on that backside. On my Kuko honeycomb with those beautiful diamond plates, we will hold the slider like this, where we've got our thumb that's going to be putting force that way, and our finger, which is putting force this way, allows that backside to drop out. So you get this nice quick motion. And then that can be combined to this one here, which I'll usually ladder like that. I will push on this top corner and almost kind of using my finger to trip it and then move it out of the way so that it comes down, readjusting, and then pushing it back down. This next move I'm going to show you is called the Upper Swoosh. I'm just calling it that because I don't have a better name for it. Now you're going to use your pointer finger and your pinky. And if you've got a hybrid, like medium on one side and maybe strong or hybrid on the other, using your thumb, press it up. And you can press it right back down. Some of these moves are like transition moves, right? This is going to get you to another move, maybe in Around the World or something like that. And they just kind of become these smooth transition moves that get you to the next trick. But they kind of become moves themselves. All right, for the next one, we're going to do up and over. This one gets pretty simple, but it involves a little bit of the wrist. All right, so for up and over, it's simply moving your wrist in a way that kind of brings it up and over, but you have to be careful. You can't move your wrist too fast or you're going to fling it. So it's just a very gentle, holding it like this, and you're kind of bracing it with your fingertips on the other side. Use your thumb to push it across that plate while also moving your wrist. Eventually you kind of get to understand the perfect amount of force that it takes to do it without moving your wrist. And so you can kind of get these full rotations without much of a wrist movement at all. Now that brings us to down and around, which is just the same thing, but I'm going to switch over to this Novel Carry carbon fiber here. This one requires a significant gap here in your hand. So you're holding it out as far as you can out on your fingertips so that this has the space to rotate and not clip this right here, okay? Not clip your palm. Now you might feel it, touch it, but you've got to push it with enough force so that even if it makes a little bit of contact with your palm, it's going to pull itself all the way in. Obviously, if you've got smaller hands, it's easier to do with, a smaller slider, but this one's really good for this move specifically. Now, this one I didn't have on the list, but putting it to the side, pushing it up, and then swinging it shut. So up and swing shut. It's kind of my favorite move for this one, which is another move that I didn't even include on there. I don't know that I do it that often, but you can do this kind of up the side movement that is really better experienced in a 2-click square. Squares kind of give the right shape to pocket in your hand like that, and just kind of continuously push up and let it fall down, right? That's my Otter EDC M02, which is a whole nother beast. If you get into square slider moves, we're off to the races. Here's a move that I really enjoy. This one, just call it the twist and turn. Now it's similar to the upper and down swoosh, whatever it is, but this one, I literally position my thumb on the bottom corner and my pointer finger on the top corner. Again, kind of a transition move that brings you right back up to get ready to do another move. Okay, now you've got kind of the pivot slide down move, going up, pushing it up to that top corner, and sliding it closed, or up to this top corner, and again sliding it closed. Similar to that one I was showing you with the gravity slider from Fifi. This is the radiator from Magnus. That lands us with the final move that we will cover, which is around the world. Taking the slider in your palm, bracing that back plate with your fingers, and pressing up on that point, you can then push up right in the middle. Now, if you give it enough force, you won't even need to move your wrist. It'll pivot on that back magnet and slide right around through your hand and right back up, where you can start it again, almost like a roller coaster. The seats come right back, cue up, and you're ready to go. Now, eventually you can do around the world this way, load it up, push it that way. All right. And if your hands are big enough and can accommodate, it can swoop right through this pocket and cue up again, so you can go around the world in both directions. And then if you get good and you have a really good grippy slider, kind of like the radiator, you can get to the point where you are pushing off on each corner that it lands in and doing full 360s, walking it all the way around the entire perimeter of the slider. So that is a lot of fun. Around the world, and kind of nailing that one will allow you to do a lot more moves, and kind of opens up the world for different tricks. So now I'm just going to play with a couple, and you can kind of see some of the different moves that I do and notice some of the moves that I just showed you incorporated. All right, folks, there you go. We will call that Slider 101. If you've got other tricks that you love to do, please feel free to share. I always love to learn new ones, but these are kind of my main flows that I maintain. There you go. Hope this was helpful.